Then I want to talk about the mental health symptoms of the perimenopause. Now, there are estrogen receptors on every single organ and tissue and center of your body, including your brain. So, mental health changes are common as estrogen declines because there just isn't enough estrogen to light up those receptors. So, things you need to kind of take note of is unusual anxiety. If you've never had it before, or if it's worse or it's more intense, that is possibly a sign of perimenopause. Or mood swings or mood changes. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy one minute and angry the next. It might not be that volatile in the shifts. It might be just that suddenly you're irritated all the time, or you're more angry, or you're just flat. And it's not necessarily depression. It's just you're just flat. There's no spark, there's no color in your day or in your emotions. That could be a sign that your estrogen is declining. Maybe you're experiencing unusual hesitations. Anecdote: we moved to a new place 2 years ago. And when I had the most gorgeous kitchen. It was the best kitchen that I'd ever had. I was so excited. But the ceilings were real high, and the cabinets went also high so that we could have lots of storage. And I noticed that I was using my hands on the countertop to make sure I was balancing enough to step up on the step stool to put things away when I was moving into my kitchen. That was kind of jarring to notice that hesitation. I was actually afraid of stepping onto a step stool. And that is a completely new behavior. That was a sign of my perimenopause. So an unusual hesitation or an unusual fear, say, for example, you've been mountain biking for years and you love mountain biking and downhills are nothing for you. And then suddenly you crest a hill and you look over and you freak out. It's a common experience, a common complaint, but it's often not attached. It's not connected to perimenopause. And another symptom in your mental health is a feeling of loss of self and loss of self-confidence. That's connected to this fear thing. Suddenly you can't do the things you used to do without crippling fear. And that can cause you to question your identity and question your confidence, and your self-esteem is likely going to suffer unless you are able to connect this to what is actually physiologically going on with you. There is a reason that you're experiencing this, and that may make it easier for you to overcome those things, those hesitations and those fears. As well as in anxiety, there is also an element of depression. I noticed in myself that I'm much more prone to depression, and it's harder to get under control, particularly during the PMS times, even though my PMS is, spread out more than it used to be because my cycles are longer. If I am having a really hard time lifting my spirits, I know I'm most likely I have an end of a cycle coming. And even if it is something that I can't necessarily tie to my cycle or my period, I know that I have to get sunlight every single morning. That really truly impacts my mood, as well as my activity, my exercise. If I'm sedentary or I'm unable to exercise because of work or because of schedules or because of injury, I know that I should be expecting a depressive bout, and I better get myself out in the sun. Brain fog. Oh, brain fog is probably my top complaint in perimenopause. It's so hard for me to speak articulately about a subject I'm really familiar with. I will be in session with a client and I'm showing them an exercise and I forget the name of the exercise. And it's like someone interrupted my sentence. They just shut the gate in my mental capacity right in the middle of the sentence. And I can't remember the name of the body part we're working. And I can't remember the name of the exercise, even though I knew it just a split second before. And that is brain fog. Or have you ever tried to put the milk in the cabinet and the cat in the refrigerator, that's a sign of brain fog. I call it word salad too. Like I will say something, I'll say purse when I mean guitar, or, or go pick up that kettlebell over there. Instead of kettlebell, I'll say something like teapot because it's like a kettle. And so my brain is getting all cross wires. The problem with brain fog in perimenopause is if you don't get it under control, it does have um, long-term correlations to dementia and Alzheimer's. The majority of Alzheimer's patients are women. It is disproportionate between the sexes. Part of that might be because of this perimenopausal brain fog. Headaches or migraines, or if you have never had them before and you're starting to experience them, or if they're increasing in frequency and duration and intensity, that could be related to the perimenopausal shift. One thing that I've noticed with myself is I am less resilient to stress, meaning that I have a harder time coping with just daily life stressors. And if I start feeling that happening, I know that it's time that I need to take a break. I need to take some time to meditate or to take care of myself, pay extra attention to my self-care, so that and also make sure that I'm getting good sleep and I'm protecting the time around my sleep, the time around bedtime for my rituals. And if I don't do that, then I will crumble under just the day-to-day of things that used to be no problem for me. And if you're experiencing any of those things, this is an indicator that you need to pay attention to your self-care. And we'll talk about how to manage these symptoms as we go in the program.